The Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters proudly presents Angler and Hunter Television. Brought to you by Canadian Tire, Boris Optics, Mercury Marine and Lund Boats, Yamaha AHTVs, Browning Ammunition, Browning Firearms, Suffix Fishing Line, Rapala, 13 Fishing, Camillus Knives and Cuda Tools, Yukon Gear, Killer Instinct Crossbows, and Outfitter Financial.
When you launch your boat and head out onto the lake in search of fish, most of us ask ourselves is, where do we start? Shorelines are endless, weed beds are often a veritable underwater labyrinth, and islands, humps, or points are usually likely looking spots. Catching walleye can be as simple as a jig and minnow bounced along the bottom, but finding the spots where walleye are hanging out, that can be tough. I'm out in the middle of the lake, and it's the middle of summer. There's, a lot of people have trouble catching fish when it comes to the dog days of summer, but hopefully I can dispel some of those myths for you today, and I'm going to try and catch some walleye. Oh, he's too big to crane. Midsummer, there's one place you want to look, and that's the last available structure. So if you think of ice fishing in the winter, look at all those fish. You got a main lake basin, that's all fish right there. All the fish sort of migrate out of the shallow water into the main lake basin, but they don't just sit out there in the middle in 40 feet of water. They're gonna hang near something, whether it's a rock, an island, a shoal, underwater points, old weed growth. So today I'm gonna tour around this lake. I'm gonna show you on my charts where I'm fishing. And even if you have a paper map, you don't necessarily have to have the latest greatest electronics. You can find where the last available structure is, or basically the first available structure coming out of the deep water. Where they intersect is where all the fish in the lake usually go come the warmest time of year and the coldest time of year. So it's hot out, it's the middle of summer, and let's go find some walleye. I'm basically gonna throw on just a VMC, it's a 1/4 ounce moon eye jig. The one thing that's good about this is this hook keeper. So Rapala's got a new line of plastics, which is kind of amazing. Crush City. I think they're gonna be incredible. So they've got, a whole variety of them. This is called the Mare. It's a minnow imitating soft plastic. It's got a big old thumper tail on it. Now it's scent and salt infused, which is kind of cool. And you see on my chart, there's an underwater point here. On top of it, there's weed growth. And as it gets deeper, the weeds get more sparse till eventually there's none. And so I'm gonna basically scan, looking for weeds out here in deeper water with the Mega Live. And once I find them, I'm gonna try and catch me some walleye. So you wanna think of Mega Live and live imaging as a flashlight in the dark. So we're out here in 14 feet of water, and I'm looking beside me, and I'm going to turn it towards the weed line. So you got basically the depth, and there's the weeds, and we're here. So you're looking down and out, and I'm going to scan out in 14 feet, and I'm going to turn it towards the shallow water, and then I'll be able to see the weeds out there and anything in between it. It's basically how it works. So it's a beam of light, and you're looking at it on your screen. It's horizontal when you're looking at it, but basically you're turning it, and you can see on that screen where it goes from 0 to 16 feet to 15 feet, where we are now, and then out. And you'll see it taper up or down. If it's tapering down, it's getting deeper. If it tapers up, it's getting shallower. And I'll turn that Minn Kota and scan, find the weed line, and then just turn the motor left and right to look down the weed line to see if there's any fish on it. That's basically what live imaging does. And just out in front of me, you're gonna see the starting of a weed line. I'm out in 14, 15 feet where there's no weeds, but I marked some fish just off the edge of the weed line where the weed starts to grow. Right in them. Wrong species. Oh no, it is not the wrong species. It is a walleye, but it jumped. I thought I had a smallmouth. This is just a little guy. But look how deep down that fish took that. Wow, ate it. Just ate it. Look at that. That's just a little fella. But, I mean, I literally pulled up, marked some fish, and threw the mare in there and got bit. So, automatically, I'm pretty excited about that bait. I'm hoping to get, you know, some bigger fish, but it's a good start.
This portion of Angler and Hunter Television is brought to you by Minn Kota and Humminbird.
Keep on casting. And most lakes, you know, in southern Ontario, I mean, probably anywhere for that matter. I mean, in Canada, for the most part, any weed growth is going to end in that sort of 12 to 14 feet of water. I got him. Didn't bail that hard. It's just a matter of time. I think it's a bass. Oh no, I think that's a nice walleye. You gotta love technology, I tell you. Oh, man. So weed lines, yes, are important. But it's what's hanging around, you know, just outside of those weed lines. I mean, look at that. And now that Mega Live, with that live imaging, you can scan, and when you spot a fish, ups the odds, puts them in your favor. Bye-bye. Beautiful. I'm marking fish under the boat, so I'm gonna drift back into like 16 and cast up into 12. Because the lift and drop, oh, I just got snapped right there. The old lift and drop seems to work. I lifted into that one. I don't know if I got a good hook in it. It's probably a pike. Oh, that's a nice walleye. Fat, short, fat walleye. His head shaking like a madman. Where are you? You're in the net. Feeling it. Oh, down its throat. You know, I'm going to the extreme here to show you. Go on. Where these fish are and how I locate it. Get bigger. With just a simple fish finder, just a Humminbird fish finder, you could come out here and find that weed line and drift off and mark fish and anchor. You can troll back and forth across this. There's a lot of different options, but I want to stay on top of these fish, and I want to be able to throw to them. That's all there is to it. It ain't rocket surgery. Oh, I got bit. Oh, talking and I got bit. Here we go. I think that's a pike or a muskie. It's got some powerful bursts, whatever it is. And I got bit off earlier. We're about to find out. Oh, it's a big walleye. This is the one. Come on, stay hooked. Gotcha! Wow! Awesome. Just awesome. He's unhooked. Nice one. That's a solid walleye right there. I mean, Kawartha Lakes, Southern Ontario, walleye do get pressured, but there's lots of them in the lakes. Slot limits work, obviously, and here's a good example of. Here's a real good example of a fish that, you know, someone would eat, but I'm going to let it go. Go on. Get a lot bigger. Smashed it, swimming it. Now that fish again got off in the net, so something to be said. When you get fish hitting it on the drop like that, aggressive walleye, remember, keep that line tight, because if they open their mouth, it's a good chance they're going to get off because you haven't got a hook in them.
This portion of Angler and Hunter Television is brought to you by Yamaha ATVs.
Well, that's a big walleye. I can't believe how many fish that, I've had on that got off. Oh, how many am I going to lose? Mostly big ones. Go figure. Everybody who loses a fish says a big one. But, look at this hook. It's not like it's not sharp. It sticks to me. I've checked my barb, like all these wonderful things. I even sharpened my hook, thinking, how am I losing these fish? So what happens when walleye are on the bite? Like, I don't know if it's going to translate well on TV or not, but on the drop, I could see my line jump, and they're actually coming up and smashing this as it falls, and I'm having trouble setting the hook. They're hitting it so fast. Well, dadgummit. Come in a little hot on those ones. Hit it on the drop. Oh, I lost him. Oh, I think he just bit my tail off. Look at that. Yummy. I gotta get a new bait. You gotta think a walleye, if it's biting live bait, or if you catch it on the bottom, or you're trolling, it's gonna bite your bait and you're gonna hook it. I'm not using it this time. Hooked him good. You see this soft tissue right here? So that's where I punched him with that hook. Now, in the mouth, look at this mouth. Teeth, bone. If he just bites down on this way, and holds it, those teeth are holding that bait in there, and then he opens his mouth and the bait comes off in the net, and you've lost your fish. Nice one. So keep that in mind when you're fishing. You are going to lose fish, but when they're snapping on it like that, it's not like they've ingested it or it's down in their gullet. It's in their teeth. And if they're just holding that bait, as soon as they open their mouth, that fish is off and gone and your heart's broken, like mine's been many times today. I've been doing pretty good with this, natural colored gizzard shad crushed city from Rapala. It's been really good. There's a fish on the bottom right under the boat here. There they are right there. See them? Okay, I'm going to throw to them. They're close to us. They're off to the left. What is that, 30 feet? Found him. I found him. That's just a little guy. Just a little fella. But, phew, crushed it. Look at that thing. Sideways in his mouth. That's a good one. Eat him. Boom, bam, pickety bow. Catching some pickerel now. Now that's how you catch them. Perch. Wonder if I should switch to perch. Look at that little perch. I have got storm largo shads. Yum. That's a walleye with a smallmouth behind it. Incredible. This is a better fish. I should have netted him. Oh. Nice one too. I saw him under. See that? They are aggressive. It's crazy. I definitely need to net this one. Thought I could crate him. Barely hooked him. But look at the mouth, teeth, all that stuff in there. Easy to hold onto a bait, hard to hook him. Good looking little Walter. Eater. That's what you want him to do.
The Fishing Edge is brought to you by Minn Kota and Humminbird.
To get the edge over the walleye, I used the Lund 1875 Pro V Muskie and Mercury 200 Pro XS to run the lake. A Humminbird Helix 10 chart plotter and side imaging located likely looking spots.
I then scan the areas using Humminbird's Mega Live and my Minn Kota Ultrex trolling motor to work the areas. I cast the Storm Largo Shad and Rapala's new Crush City Mare baits on 1/4 ounce VMC Moon Eye jigs, tied to an 8-pound Suffix fluorocarbon leader on 10-pound Suffix braided line. I used a 13 fishing Axum reel and 7'1" 13 fishing Meta medium action rod. And of course, a Lucky Strike net and Cuda pliers made landing the fish and unhooking them a cinch. Bit of a breeze kicking up. Got you this time. Come on, where are you? Stay on. It's just a little fella. Stay on. Sideways in his mouth. Look at this one. Oof. Plenty of walleye to go around. Snapped it up, that one did. That's an eater right there. Get bigger. I got my pants pulled down. I say that when they pull my body off the hook. It's just a fishing phrase. And then threw back and caught him. Tricky little bugger. They're right there. It shines, but got one. I knew it. Shines by them. I couldn't stay over top of these fish, so I came out into deep water, hit spot lock. That's a nice one. Hit spot lock and found the school. Got potential to be big one day. Yeah, something like a cigar. Go get bigger. So here, look, you can still see some fish out here. I'm gonna 40 to 50 feet away, so a full cast. I can actually sometimes, if I'm holding still, I'll actually see that jig drop down over top of those fish, so I know I'm right over them. But I've had 3 on, lost 2. So when I see them again, when it points to them, I know where they are. Don't you get off now. This might be a better one. Feels heavy. Whoop, whoop. Come on. Got white caps happening here. Oh, that's a nice one. Look at that thing wallowing down there. That's a beauty. I'm gonna struggle to get the net. Get in the net. Oh, I got him. Flopped him halfway over the net. I'm hitting anchor here. So the wind's blowing. It's the middle of the day, and the walleye are still biting. I mean, I started off calm and beautiful, but wow, look at this guy biting down. He's got the Lucky Strike net in his mouth, dead perch in his mouth, and the Largo Shad. I mean, I mixed it up a little bit, a couple of different baits, but you can see the boats rocking. Good looking walleye right there. Short and fat, a lot of potential. But so go get bigger, please. I mean, it's like I said, midsummer. You don't have to be in the middle of the lake, but you want to find, like I said, whether you have a map, or electronics. And I'm going to say, the Humminbirds pay for themselves when I'm fishing. So find that where that deep water meets the first available cover, whether it's a point, an island, could be a narrows, if you're in a river or a narrow lake. Anywhere where that lake basin comes up and meets shallow water, whether it's, like I said, an underwater point, could be rock, sand, but you want to find them weeds, and the walleye will be there. Doesn't matter if you're in Saskatchewan or Quebec. That's where they go in the summer. So mix it up, experiment. I mean, you saw earlier today that perch. I caught that little perch, and it showed me that, hey, maybe I should switch to a perch pattern. And I was using the Tennessee and gizzard shad pattern. Switch to the perch, catch some walleye. Okay, I'm gonna hold it right there. Got one. And had a good day, so get out and do it. Just pull it right into them. These walleye are aggressive. It's that simple.
Closed captioning of Angler and Hunter Television is brought to you in part by Ontario Out of Doors Magazine. Angler and Hunter Television has been brought to you by Canadian Tire, Mercury Marine, and Lund Boats, Yamaha ATVs, Browning Ammunition, Browning Firearms, Suffix Fishing Line, Rapala, 13 Fishing, Camillus Knives and Cuda Tools, Yukon Gear, Killer Instinct Crossbows, and Outfitter Financial. For more information on the products used in this episode of Angler and Hunter Television, visit AHTV.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Remember, conserve and protect our great outdoors.